Welcome to another edition of the Critics Corner. I'm Andrew Branca with the Waxahachie Sun.
And I'm David Dunn with Southlake Style Magazine. Thank you all for joining us today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you, our audience, for joining us here today. We've got kind of a newish-ish movie to look at here, since theaters still remain closed in our area. District 9, which was it directed by Peter Jackson or produced by him?
It was produced by Peter Jackson. It was directed at the time by newcomer Neil Blomkamp. Since then, he's directed other science fiction movies. He did Elysium with Matt Damon in 2015. He did Chappie in 2017. So really kind of an interesting, very interesting premise, very interesting science fiction, kind of idea. So the backstory of this movie, it's actually based off of a short film Neil Blomkamp did way before this even came into fruition. It's set in District 9 in Johannesburg, Africa. And the premise is, years ago, aliens came to Earth. Not violent like the Independence Day type, this is our Independence Day, that whole type of thing. No, these aliens are, by all metrics, refugees. They kind of got stranded on this planet, don't really have a lot of resources, don't have a lot to their name. So the government, just like any other government that tries to step in to help towards a problem, they try to help these aliens by putting them in slums and ghettos and just really, really crappy places. Hence, District 9, the title.
Yes.
Main character is played by I can't pronounce his name. Charlton Copley. He's a British actor who's actually a friend of Neil Blomkamp's. And he plays a government worker called Wilkes, whose job is to go to these houses and evict these aliens.
They're being resettled to a new, better camp.
New, better camp, concentration camp, maybe. But he's charged with going in, resettling these aliens, and during one of his routine tours, he stumbles on a secret that kind of changes his life forever, more or less.
Okay, that's a good summation of what District 9 is, and I haven't seen too much of the guy that plays Wilkes in He's been in a number of movies. He was in Chappie, which. That was all right. I wasn't really. It had a lot of. They could have done a lot more with that film.
Yeah.
Most people might remember him from the A-Team, where he played Murdoch.
True. The A-Team is one of his more notable roles, and I loved him in the A-Team. I know a lot of people hated that movie.
I love that. I thought it was great.
I thought, oh man, I think whether you loved or hated the movie, you could not hate his performance. He was just so quirky. He was so fun. He was just so wacky. His personality.
And he brings that quirkiness to District 9, which he's just his oddball character. And I like it for the fact that with this movie, it's more, has a very touch of realism that you could actually kind of believe it and that something like this could happen. And also, this movie was, I believe, made back in 2009, so you're talking 11 years ago. I don't think a lot of people have a car they had 11 years ago, or still driving something like that. But you look at how technology has progressed and effects, I think they hold up pretty well for what it is currently. I mean, it still delivers a great visual picture to the audience, I think.
The visual effects, I did feel, you are right, it is made 11 years ago. By today's standards, they do look a little dated for sure. I mean, 2009, same year Avatar came out, so definitely got blown out of the water in the year it was released for sure. But even then, like it does definitely hold up. Like you can definitely, it's not distracting enough to the point where you can't immerse yourself in the movie for
Well,
sure.
it's kind of like you look at like in the first Independence Day, which is the better one that came out in 1995, and you look at that today, 25 years ago, and it's like, wow, that's definitely showing quite a bit of age there in some aspects of the movie. But I think it holds up fairly well. The story is definitely unique. It's engaging. I liked it for the most part. He's an odd character. The relationship he has with the aliens he has to work with throughout the story. At first, you really kind of loathe this guy. He's kind of a low level office employee who gets a promotion, kind of thing. He's not really likable, and then you kind of feel for him because of what circumstances happen to him, and then you kind of your feelings definitely change for him throughout the movie.
For sure, and I will agree. That's something the movie does very skillfully. Is that it kind of shows you multiple perspectives under the premise of this movie. So obviously, the movie itself, it is an allegory for racism and prejudice, which is a very timely topic in today's age. But the movie draws an inspiration from, the apartheid in South Africa, with the Holocaust when it comes to Nazi Germany. But it takes those ideas, those little pieces of realism in history, and puts it in a science fiction blockbuster. And for the most part, it works really, really well. I really like the parallels the movie draws between the humans, the majority, and then literally the alien refugees. I think it speaks a lot of volumes, not just with the year it was released, but even to today. A lot of the themes in this movie are still very relevant in today's age.
Well, the one thing I find kind of amusing in this movie is when they first enter the camp to go evict these aliens, there's this main entrance that they're going through, and there's this monument to friendly human alien coexistence, and they have an alien on one side and human on the other, and they're both holding hands together, and it's all friendly. But you look at the monument closer, it's all pockmarked with like bullet holes and all this sort of stuff. So it shows you that, well, it might have started off okay, but people took advantage of the situation and how desperate these aliens actually were for assistance. Instead of helping them, companies came in to see what technology they could scavenge off of them.
Exactly, and you do raise a great point with that. How really it just kind of the people, the villains in the story, they don't just objectify aliens in the movie, but in quite a few several scenes, they also objectify human sympathizers in several moments. And you are right. They don't really care about the lives of the characters in this movie. They don't care about the circumstances or the scenarios. They don't really care about helping. Yeah. They care about the bottom dollar, and what's the bottom dollar? War is a business. Weapons are a business. Munitions are a business. It's just a lot of those things you look at, you're like, I see what you're saying in this movie. And it's presenting a very uncomfortable truth.
Yeah, very much so. And I also like it how it's kind of almost made in a documentary style type of film, which I think adds to the story in a way. You get to see.
It definitely does. Go ahead.
You get to see things from different perspectives, like what's happened afterwards, and it makes you question what happened to some of the characters that they're talking about now, and you kind of see that happen in their recollection.
I do agree. the found footage aspect is an immersive element in the movie. And for a while it definitely did work for sure. The beginning in particular, where it's showing Wilkes going from residence to residence, evicting these aliens. They're showing the aftermath of what's going on, kind of like a documentary crew actually following a character. That all worked very well, and I think the movie did a good job keeping up with the action. One of the problems with found footage movies, and one of my irritations generally with some of them, is that they keep up the shaky cam effect, they keep up the found footage effect,
Yeah.
even though there isn't a character to be shooting that effect. It's like the movie carries it on because narratively speaking, it has to carry on.
Yeah.
But the problem with found footage movies is the camera is just as much the character as anyone else in the movie. And when that character is no longer present in the narrative of the story, but it's still going on with that whole, type of thing, it is a little distracting, and you kind of have to take yourself out of it for a second, saying, wait a minute, there's not somebody shooting that. It's just the movie playing. So that is an obstacle this movie has to get past, is switching from the documentary style to the regular, cinematic style we're familiar with.
But I would say compared to other films that have been shot in that kind of style, there's a number of them that are egregiously bad. I think they do their best to minimize that a little bit, and for what's there, I think they did an okay job with presenting it that way. It's better than a lot that's out there.
For sure, and yeah, if you have to look at the found footage film genre or the mockumentary type genre, this is definitely one of the better ones. I'm not saying that it's not good, but just that whole transition of going from documentary to science fiction, action, fantasy. There's definitely a transition in there. You definitely have to overcome visually and aesthetically for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. It's kind of like over salting your food. If you do it just a little bit too much, that's all you're gonna taste is the salt.
Yeah, exactly.
So to wrap things up here, what do you give this?
Solid 7. I do like the movie quite a bit. It keeps up the pace nicely. The action's very good. The acting's very good. It's just that whole overcoming, going from found footage documentary style to typical science fiction fantasy. It's a hurdle to get over for sure.
I would give it a 7 out of 10 as well. Partially, I think they could have done a few things maybe a little bit better in their storytelling, which kind of was a little muddled. It's definitely a rewatchable movie. I've seen it several times. It's a good sci-fi movie. It's not bad. Is it the cream of the crop? No, but it's kind of. I would say it's a good like B+ movie.
B+ is definitely the word, my friend. But you definitely, at the very least, you definitely see the potential of Neil Blomkamp. I am eager to see where his career goes from here.
Yeah, I've loved what he's done so far, apart from Chappie, which I thought that was. Don't go watch Chappie. Horrible movie. I hate that movie with the flame of 1,000 suns, to quote my brother. I mean, it's a horrible film. But anyways, I think that's gonna wrap up the Critics Corner for this week. So if you have any
Chappie.
Really? Wow. So if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, if you want to chat about movies with us, please shoot us an email. I can be reached here at the Waxahachie Sun at Andrew@WaxahachieSun.com.
And I can be reached at David@SouthlakeStyle.com.
And that's going to do it for this week of the Corner. Look forward to seeing you guys next week on the couch, and y'all take care.
Take care, everybody. Stay out of District 9.